Okay, we're in Pesachim, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Hey. Fifth Mishnah, the first chapter of Pesachim. The Mishnah says the following. In the last Mishnah, actually, we talked about the idea that according to Rabbi Yehuda, who we passed him like, Ochlin kol arba'a, you eat all the fourth hour, v'tolin chol chamesh, and then you don't eat the chametz the entire fifth hour, v'sarfin v'tchilat sheish, and then you burn the chametz in the sixth hour. Our Mishnah is a continuation of that Mishnah, and it shows us how they told the people what to do in the Beit Hamikdash. Says the Mishnah, V'od amar Rabbi Yehuda says, Shtei chalot shel todah psulot, munachot agag ha'itzdeba. There were two chalot, two loaves from korbanot todah that were psulot, that were leftovers. I'll explain to you in a minute how they got leftovers. That they were munachot agag ha'itzdeba. They placed them on the top of the itzdeba. I'm not sure which itzdeba, but itzdeba was, remember, the portico. So they had this porch area that was enclosed, that was covered, and then they had these two chalot on the top. Kol zman shemunachot kol ha'am ochlin. So when they saw two chalot there, then everybody knew that they could eat the chametz, because as we saw in our chart, according to Rabbi Yehuda, so they kept the two chalot all the first 4 hours. But nitla achat tolim. They would take, after the fourth hour, they would take one down, so there would be only one left, then tolim, then they would stop eating their chametz. They could benefit, they had hana'ah, but they couldn't eat it. Lo ochlin, v'lo sarfin. They wouldn't eat it, and they wouldn't burn it. Nitlu shtehen. When they took both down, then itchilu kol ha'am sarfin. That's why, so that it just says that the Beit Hamikdash, they had two chalot here, they would take one down here, and then by this time, by 11 a.m., by the beginning of the 6th hour, they would take both chalot down and everybody would burn their chametz. How do they have chalot todah psulot? So the Bartudur explains that what happened was everybody wanted to bring korbanot todah. One way to do that was chalot todah, lachmei todah, the breads of a korban todah. And those were 40 chalot, 40 chalot. 10 of them were chametz. And he says, v'korban todah ne'elchelet layom v'layla. You could eat it the day and the night out. So therefore, they couldn't bring it on the 14th. Excuse me. They couldn't bring it on the 14th because then they could only eat it for 6 hours. And nobody could bring it afterwards. So therefore, kol mi shehaya alav korban todah mevia b'shlosh asar. Anybody who had a korban todah to bring brought his korban todah for the entire Pesach on the 13th, which means just a massive amount of bread. And for that reason, they always had leftover bread that they couldn't use, that they would have to burn anyway, that became pasul. Kohanim just couldn't eat that much. And therefore, they used them as a sign. So they said, what do we do with the bread? They used them as a sign for when people could eat and burn chametz. Mishnah continues. Rabbi Gamliel says, chulim ne'echalim kol arba. Fine, chulin, non-truma, can be eaten until the end of the 4th hour. Utruma kol chamesh, but truma, you eat the entire 5th hour, because since it's tolin, remember, it's like chumad rabbanan. So Rabbi Gamliel says, we're not going to be machmir chumad rabbanan on truma, and then sorfim b'tchilat sheish, and then we burn b'tchilat sheish. But ein halacha Rabbi Gamliel. We don't paskin like Rabbi Gamliel. We'll stop here. As always, comments or questions, email me at aspoder@gmail.com. We'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.